Hello, everyone. Welcome to our fifth Thursday that we have Town Hall every month that has a fifth Thursday. We have Town Hall, which is a nice laid-back time of just question and answer, since during our board meetings, it's set up to where we can't have question and answer with our community. We like to have 4 or 5 times a year that we can all come together and try to get some good information and questions answered. So we're going to get started tonight, and I would like to welcome everyone and welcome everyone at home as well. This is televised. I'm going to get started by making a couple comments. I've had a lot of people reach out to me this week about Cumberland and 100. So at Highway 100 in Cumberland, we have been waiting a long time for a traffic light and sidewalks there. It's a very exciting time for us to get that accomplished, but it's also a time of us needing to have a little patience, because the workers out there and the state, they're trying to work very diligently to get that finished, but I know that the traffic can sometimes be a little tenuous. So what I'm going to do is work with Ethan to put together like a plan, an alternate route, and put it out on our social media, and maybe we can print some for people who don't have social media, if people can just kind of spread the word. I'm also going to post it at my shop at Going Postal next door, so that people can just, take a look at the alternate routes around that area. Also, I'm going to, I probably should have thought about this beforehand, but I'm going to get with Chris Butler, the principal of the high school, and maybe the principal of the middle school, to see if we can't do some type of plan for them to come in off of King Road instead of coming in on Cumberland until we get this finished. That may not happen, but I'm sure going to give it a try. So I did want to put that out there, that we can look at alternate routes so that at least we can get around that until it's finished. But once it's finished, what a great day that will be to have a light there. So I'm saying that to kick things off. The way this is going to work is, if you have something you'd like to let the community know, or a question you'd like to ask, we may not always have the answers, but we will jot your questions down. If we can answer this tonight, we will. If we can't, then we'll jot the question down and go to one of the department heads that would be over, that department that might can answer the question better than us. And, maybe be able to take your name and number and get the question answered if we can't do it tonight. So the way it'll work is, if you'd like to ask a question or give information, please just come to the mic and we'll take turns. Make sure that the mic is by your mouth so that everyone can hear, and speak loudly. And with that, we'll begin and just take turns, and we'll get this thing started. Oh, and by the way, state your name and address, and if you live in the city or county.
All right. My name is Renee Bowser. That's loud. My name is Renee Bowser. I live on King Road, and we are county. I have some information for the county and the community regarding the high school band. My cohort here is Miss Mary Bell. She is also with the band. The Fairview High School Band has a large event coming up. We are hosting Wilco this year at the high school. For those who don't know what Wilco is, every year in September, all of the Williamson County schools perform a preview of their upcoming show to families and their communities. The host school rotates every year between all the high schools in the county. This year, it's our turn. We will be hosting Wilco on September 13th of 2025. This event is huge for our band, and it's huge for our community. The expected attendance is anywhere between 1,500 and 2,000 people. That includes all the bands, their buses, their semis, their equipment, their families, and their friends. We need all hands on deck to help us pull this off. The entire community is invited to help us, and we need your help. It is a great opportunity, just said that, for our band and as well as our community, to show our spirit and our pride in our band and in our school. We are doing our best to get sponsors to help us with our expenses, not only for this event, but for the entire season. It takes a significant budget to keep our program moving forward as we grow in size and musical abilities. We have amazingly talented kids. We have several levels of sponsorships available each year, and this year we've had a new addition. We have received a donation of a semi-trailer, and we're in the process of getting it painted and enhanced with all of our Fairview High School Sound of Gold marching band logos, and also certain level sponsorship logos are put on the semi as well. The plan is for that trailer to travel with us to our competitions and our away games. If any of y'all attend those, you'll see that these other bigger schools in the county always have their semis, sometimes two, and we've now stepped up into their realm as well, so we have ours as well. Financial sponsorships are always welcome, but any donation helps. With Wilco in particular, with that being on the horizon, we are reaching out to the community for donations of bottled water, soft drinks, supplies for our concession stand. Even small donations add up. We know it's extremely hard right now with everybody getting back to school, but every little bit helps. As Mary said, it's like throwing a pebble into a pond when you invest in a child. The ripples spread to other children and other parents. It sends a message that we believe in you and we are behind you. Our band has been growing and really putting in the work. They just finished 2 weeks of band camp in this grueling heat. Last year, our amazing students earned 4 first place awards and 1 second place in our competitions. Our band is small but mighty. They have put in the work, and now we need our community to show up for us. We need volunteers, sponsors, and everyone in the community to show their sound of gold pride. Thank you.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
September 13th, Wilco, what time does it start?
Starts at, I think the show itself starts at 7, but we will be there all day getting ready, and I think the buses start arriving at 4:30 from the other schools.
Okay, and I just wanted to put it out there for businesses in the community, anyone who has a business or is an LLC. I didn't know this in the beginning when I first opened my business, but when you sponsor or donate to something that they advertise your name, it actually comes off of the top of your taxes. It's not like a charitable contribution where you have to possibly have a standardized deduction, where people are like, well, if I don't meet that standardized deduction, I can't write it off. When you have a business and when we sponsor you or donate to the band, we get some sort of advertisement. So when that happens, when you're given advertisement, you can write it off as an advertising expense, and it comes right off the top of your taxes. So I'd like for all the businesses in the community to know that, so that we all need write-offs when we have small business or large business, each year. So that would be a good opportunity with the advertising coming straight off the top to be able to give to these, the schools and the band program.
Ms. Bowser, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of being at the preview that you all did a few days ago, and the band sounds incredible. So get ready for Friday Night Lights, Fairview. It's going to be really great. They sound really, really good. But I had a pretty long conversation with Ms. Bell and with the head of your fundraising, and I was a little shocked to find out about the difference between what you all have, what you're generally able to raise, and what you really need in order to produce the kind of band that is expected in Williamson County schools. Do you feel comfortable talking a little bit about that?
I can delve into that a little bit. This year, as I said, it takes a significant budget. Our budget increased $25,000 this year. You wouldn't think a small band would have that much, but to provide the type of show that we are in the level of competition with these other schools, it takes more than what we've had in the past. And this year we're up to $75,000 for our budget. So we're doing everything we can to raise it ourselves, to get community support. And it doesn't have to be just businesses. Individuals can give donations as well. Anything helps. Last year we made our budget, and we're fully expecting to do it this year, but we need a lot of help to get there.
What are some of the costs that go into that $75,000 budget?
Oh, goodness. Everything from the uniforms, travel expenses. Every year, we've had to rent U-Hauls to haul our equipment. Hopefully, that's not going to be expense this year. We've had the donation of the semi. We've had another company donate new tires for the semi. So we are moving forward in getting those kinds of things, which will help our budget. But we have new show uniforms, instrument repair. We feed the kids before each game. Away games, we usually stop on the way and get something. But it takes a lot to keep 40-plus kids in a positive program.
Right, because y'all are there with all of the games plus your own competition
Yes,
season.
we have 5 competitions this year.
And just while you're up here, I really am so glad that you're here and that people are getting a chance to listen. Will you talk about your big fundraiser that you do with the flags? I'm not sure everyone realizes that it's you and
It is
how
us.
exactly to sign up for this.
Well, thank you for that. We do have the National Flag fundraiser that we do for $60 for your subscription. We put your flags out 5 times a year at the major holidays, Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, Veterans Day, and Flag Day. And we put them out. Used to, it would just be for the morning of to the evening, and now we've started backing that out to where they will be up for several days, usually over the weekend. You sign up for your subscription. It's a rotation. If you sign up in May, it goes for the full year to the next May. And we will bring those out every year. Every time, excuse me, I'm a little nervous. We bring those out each time, and they will stay up, and then the students or the parents will take those back. It's a huge fundraiser, and we're trying to grow that program as well.
Well, thank you, and I can attest to how well it works, and it's very nice to wake up to a big flag in my
Thank you.
yard
I
those
appreciate
days out of
that.
the year. Thank you so much for being
All
here.
right. Thank y'all for your time and attention, and Miss Mary and I will be going home and working on props for the show. So appreciate you letting us be here.
Ma'am, I do have one question for you. Down here, hi. Is there a fee to come to the showcase or the Wilco?
If I'm not mistaken, the entry fee is $10
Does
at
that
the
go
gate.
to the band or does that go to Wilco?
It goes to the,
We don't get any of that. The only thing we make money on at that event is the concessions.
Can you say that to the microphone? Nobody
our financial recorder, so she's good on those answers.
Yeah, we don't get any money from from the ticket sales or anything. The only thing we make money on is like the concessions or if we have any swag. So it's real important for everybody to come and eat when you come.
But it is also important to come and support the kids.
Yes,
So it all goes
yes.
back into the system, but it doesn't come individually to us.
Right.
Thank you.
And you may have stated it already, but maybe those at home missed it. I think I missed it. What is the best way to connect with you if you are wanting to be a sponsor, and if you need volunteers or anything else? How do we go ahead about getting a hold of you?
Probably the easiest thing to do is go to the band website, and I think I have it on the sponsorship form here. I have some sponsorship forms, but we have to correct the dates on them. That changed.
You have a QR code, right?
Yes, we have a QR code, and also it is fairviewhighschoolband.org. And there's a lot of information on the flag program there. Contact information is there for our committee members, and we would love to hear from everyone. We need your help.
Maybe we can spread around that QR code on our social media so that we can get more people to, access it that way.
Sounds great. Thank you for the question.
If you can email us that spreadsheet or whatever you have there, your advertisement, and then we can do what the mayor suggested.
And also, several businesses have your flyer up, so people can go around the community, and the QR code is on the flyer that's up in several businesses around the community.
We had our sponsorship drive Friday. It was our last day of band camp. We celebrate with going to an event in Nashville called DCI, and the kids come out, and we divide and conquer and go around town. And that's, if you saw us out Friday, that's what we were doing, was trying to build our sponsorships on Friday, and that's where those signs came up.
Ms. Trolley? Yes. So if people can't access the QR code, what would you suggest as far as how they get donations to you?
The easiest thing would be to mail it to either the QR code, you can do it that way, or the address is the Fairview High School Band Committee, P.O. Box 494, here in Fairview, 37062.
Okay.
Can we drop checks off and cash off to the school as well?
You can. It needs to come to the band department. It's a little different when it goes to the office. It needs to come specifically to the band. So we can either, there's a drop box in the band room. You can reach out to any of the board we're not board members anymore, we're committee members. Reach out to any of us and we'll be glad to meet you in town, or again, mailing it to that address will be fine either way.
And you guys will be at every home football game as
Yes.
well to
Yes.
do that. Thank you.
Somebody will always be available. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you. Who's next?
Kathy Tiroli, Shepton Park, the city. This is just thank yous. Thank you to the wonderful staff at Bowie Nature Park, the naturalists, Brianna, Zena, Kristen, and the workers that did such a fabulous job for the 2025 Camp Bowie. It was very successful. And we want to thank the park staff, Keith, Justin, Levi, Larry, and Tommy for the job that they do throughout the park. And we want to thank the Friends Garden crew for taking care of the gardens around the Nature Center and in front of the restrooms. The garden crew meets on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock, only for an hour, but we have a good time and we do the best we can with the heat now, but it's coming along. But we're just so proud of camp this year, just to see all those kids there. It was, just so refreshing. And Bowie Nature Park is the crown jewel of Fairview. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Leslie Street. I'm at 1062 Highway 96 North. As everyone's seen on Facebook, some of the issues that we're having on the family farm, and what measures are going to be taken for the future developments and for the property surrounding these developments to prevent them from being flooded and their fields turned orange or their front yards turned orange. I've warned the city what was going to happen since 2020. It has happened. It is, let me take that back, since 2022. It has happened. It's happening to our farm and people around us. My neighbor on Highway 96 on the other side that touches Horn Tavern, the water's getting up to the bottom of their house. And it's all coming from the development on Northwest Highway. These things should have been prevented. Yeah, y'all were the ones that were here then, and there's a couple that were. You were presented with an elevation map with the water flow. You still let him do it. And my mom's side of the property is being destroyed too by the same development. They have a big section they're fixing to do on the other side of my mom's house on Northwest Highway. What about that? What is it going to destroy? Because it all goes to the same place. And this keeps happening to everyone. It's happened with the Niblick Creek and Huntingcount Creek with the otter development. It's happened with Clemens Lake. It's happening with Oranshire, Pepper Tree on Horn Tavern Road, and it's happening to our beautiful Bowie Park too. What are y'all gonna do to stop this? You are hurting your people, your citizens, the people who want y'all up there to voice for them. Well, how are you going to protect us? Thank you.
Mayor? Are there things that we're doing right now to protect or to alleviate some of these issues currently that you may know of?
I know that we have a stormwater ordinance in place. I know that TDEC regularly reviews these projects. And as far as TDEC and our stormwater ordinance, I would say that is what, they're the ones that manage and make sure that the developers are doing what they're supposed to do.
Miss Leslie, thank you for your question. And I don't have much to say. As you know, there's a straight uphill climb to figure out how all of it works. To figure out what was built, why some water might affect downstream locations, how exactly it works, how it all fits together, when something was built, what was in place at the time as far as regulations go versus what's in place now. So sadly, I don't have an answer, and sadly, you are not the only person that contacts us about stormwater. And despite the ordinance and despite TDEC, we are still seeing effects of stormwater runoff. I think that it's impossible to say that's not true. We do have some new zoning ordinances that we are putting into place. We do have a lot of great minds looking at it. As I said in our last meeting, I will continue to say, I will not stop saying it. I think we do need to take a pause. We need to figure out what is causing the downstream effects, and we need to fix that before we continue approving annexations, zoning, new developments. I think that we do, because it's continuing to happen. And if it's multiple reasons that the water is coming down, then it's multiple reasons, and maybe there's something that we can do to fix it, and maybe there's not. One of the realities I've had to face since I was elected in November is that we cannot go back and fix what's done. We can only take what we've learned from that and try to make it better going forward. However, you were in touch with us, and I've been in touch with you in the past couple of weeks, and I know that they did go out and take a look, and that there have been some requests that were made to make improvements to the Orange Shire Phase 2, and that those have been put in place. And I would like it if you would continue to let us know how it's going. And I know how frustrating that is. And I know that that doesn't change what's happened. But if you will continue to speak, if everybody will continue to speak and let us know, because I can't speak for everybody, but I believe it's true of everybody that we're all trying. But we've got developments all over the place that we have now inherited. And we're working on it. But if people don't continue to let us know what's happening, then we won't really understand how to fix it and how to prevent it going forward. So while this might not be a satisfactory response, it's the honest truth. It's my best answer I can give you sitting here tonight. But I am continuing to try and research and learn all the time. Ethan and the city engineer, they can tell you I'm sitting in their office whenever I can get some time off and go in. I'm always on email and phone call, and I know that other commissioners are doing the same as well. But I didn't want us to sit here and look at each other and not give you a response and seem like there wasn't something. because there's an awful lot. And you're not the only person I speak with. And sometimes we can do something and sometimes we cannot. But nothing has changed since November 4th when I wasn't a commissioner until now. I'm still a person in this community. You're still my neighbor. People who were my friends before are still my friends. And I'm really sorry to see this happening. So I am doing everything that I can. So we'll continue to work on that and to drive into it. But I'm really hopeful with the new ordinances and zoning requests that zoning laws that are coming into place that we can make some improvements, because we've learned a lot.
And just to tack on to that, what Commissioner Roberts was saying, TPUDC, we're having a sit down with them, and everyone's invited. It's going to be public on the August 13th, I believe it is, right? 13th? August 13th, Wednesday, at 6 p.m. right here at City Hall. We're going to be going over the new ordinances that they have written, so as a draft. Prior to that day, none of us here on this dais are going to be able to see it or anything like that. So I want to let everybody know that ahead of time, that we do not have any access to it. We will get the same access the same day that the citizens get it.
Hello, my name is Colleen Van Vossen. I live at 7801 Pinecrest Court in the city. And prior to land being annexed and planning requests and permits being done, is there a hydrology study conducted to understand and predict where the runoff is going to come and where it's going to develop? And so, because this shouldn't be a surprise to a construction professional that they're creating runoff problems. So how does the hydrology study go into your decisions about planning and permitting? Thank you.
So, ma'am, I think the beginning of that, reports and all that, go through the Planning Commission first before it comes to the Board of Commissioners. I believe that's the process for that. Is that correct?
At the annexation period, it wouldn't, you're just simply saying that that property is now part of the city. There's no changes at that point in time being made to the property, so there wouldn't be anything like that. Now, when an annexation takes place, all of the department heads do talk about whether or not they can properly service that property, and if it's going to affect service levels or impact service levels, if they would need additional staff to be able to maintain an adequate level of service, depending on whether it's police, fire, city works, any of that. I don't believe even at a rezoning that it would happen, because you're just asking for permission to do a certain amount. You're not proposing anything. The hydrology study comes into play when you're actually altering the land as it currently exists. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not 100% on that. I would have to research it, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate. But before they do touch the soil, there are all of those things do take place.
And I think it might be helpful if we ask Ethan Greer and Curtis Broadbent to maybe give an explanation of that, because Ms. Van Vossen, they can probably give a better explanation about precisely what they do look at. We know that they go through a process, but we're not an engineer or a city planner.
Oh, and, just the recently annexed property on Cox Pike has ravines that run east-west and north-south. It's not flat and it's not rolling. There are ravines in that property. So
it's a touchy subject when we talk about stormwater, because I think there was a question that was shouted from the back that probably wasn't picked up on a microphone, but the new regulations that we're putting in place and everything that we do proactively from today forward to try to prevent the issues that we currently experience, there's no real way to retroactively go backwards in time and change the existing infrastructure on the existing developments or really anything that's already been approved. That being said, we do take that into account. I mean, we have the stormwater infrastructure or the stormwater ordinances that we have now. The first inch of rain is captured. So the studies that are done on property before it's developed, they take into account how much water, they measure how much water is leaving that property as of today before it's touched. And then once they do anything to it, they have to capture the first inch to make sure that this is, once again, after all infrastructure is in place. During the building period, it's very difficult because those systems aren't in place yet. But once they're there, and there are restrictions on what can be done as they're building, but it's different. Once you're in place, they capture that first inch of water to make sure that oil on the road or debris or whatever it might be is captured in the stormwater runoff detention ponds, and then the water cannot leave the site at a higher volume than it was prior to them touching it. So there are, but again, that's today moving forward. Can't really do anything about the past, unfortunately.
But you had an opportunity to postpone the annexation of that plot of land until the new codes are in place, and that was something that Commissioner Roberts suggested on the evening that you voted for this. And I believe you and Commissioner Hall and Mayor Anderson voted no, not to wait, to go ahead and annex the property. So you had an opportunity to apply those new codes to that particular plot, but you chose not to. So when you said, we can't do anything about it in the past, I had to come up here again and just throw that out there because you had the opportunity to pause, as has been suggested, but you chose not to do that. So,
I
thank
agree.
you.
I did vote the way you accurately represented it. The new codes have no effect on an annexation other than just the naming of what's currently on there. They'd still come in at R40 or whatever the new equivalent is. It's the zoning, the rezoning of the property that would have an impact with the new zoning regs. So the annexation, whether we waited or not, would come in exactly like it did. Which we have not rezoned that property.
But I think that my concern was that with it being annexed and it could potentially get rezoned before the code is voted on. And that was what I specifically wanted to make sure we didn't do.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with anybody's opinion. I'm just stating that an annexation, the new zoning regulations have no impact on how a property is annexed into the
Yeah,
city.
I just
So-
wanted to clean that up and just say that was what my concern was specifically.
But also, the annexation doesn't make the water flow differently. It's more the construction that's going to change the flow of water, not so much annexation in a rainstorm. Is what I'm just saying that. So by annexing a property in doesn't make all of a sudden it's going to change the direction of which way the water is going to go. It's still going to be the same amount of water flowing whichever way it's going to go, whether it's annexed or not. Being annexed into a city is just giving them access to fire, police, and other city things that we have to offer. But it's what comes after the annexation, the building process, and all the disruption of the greenery and the dirt is what is really going to change the way the water flows.
More often, just to add to that, more often than not, almost always, except for maybe a few rare occasions, those properties prior to annexation are already being serviced by our fire department and our police department, and we're not getting any revenue out of it as far as property taxes go for the city of Fairview. So it is something that our departments are already serviced. By annexing it, we then just allow the city to reap some sort of financial gain out of the situation.
Well, Vice Mayor McDonald, if they're totally undeveloped properties, then what's the cost to the city on servicing those properties if there isn't anybody living there.
I'm speaking very generally about
Right.
all annexations, not about the specific one that we just did.
Well, what I would be curious to know, and maybe if Mr. Greer's listening, or I can ask him later, is how many properties has the Board of Commissioners annexed in and not rezoned or not approved a development? So I think the sense is that it feels pretty likely that if we're annexing something in, then it's going to possibly be rezoned, which we already know that that's the goal for this specific property, to a higher density. And then the development will happen, and then the same continuing story will happen again. And that's the concern. And that's been the concern for many years. So I would like to know how many times an annexation has been approved and a rezoning hasn't been approved after that.
Do I need to say who I am again, or am I good? I know everyone knows me, so. So from what I've gathered in the research and the history, is the annexation isn't the problem. It's the rezoning when it's brought before the boards, the Planning Commission and the BOC. That's where you decide the density. Are you going to approve the zoning for high density, or are you going to approve a zoning for low density? That's when the decision's made for development, in my opinion. But real quickly too, I want to bring this back up. My mom asked for an elevation map from the city for before the development on Northwest was done, and then she wanted one from for after, but she was given one from they're the same. The elevation maps are the same distance and everything on elevation from this development, when it is not correct, because they have actually leveled out the top part, this 180 or 840 feet in elevation, and that is now stretched out, and there is a 40-foot drop to our farm on one side and a 20-foot drop gradually on my mom's side from this development. Now, if they went by the proposed plans, that should not be that much of a drop. And that's, I mean, you can drive by there and see where they have leveled out the top of it, and so everything rushes down. So anyone who knows that water flows down to the lower elevation is going to see that that was way too much water, way too fast. I don't see how a hydro or the stormwater testing that they do would have allowed this to happen. 40-foot drop is way too much, way too fast, when it's just houses and rooftops and gutters and concrete. When you had a gradual field that would help soak up the water as it ran, so it didn't eat out our pond banks, it didn't eat out the lake banks, it didn't put orange stuff all over our fields where our cows eat and drink. That should not have happened, and you were warned and you let it happen. Why are we having to suffer? Why are we having to go through all this when you can look at an elevation map and you know what happens? You know what's going to happen. Why are y'all doing this to us?
Who's next?
I have another burning question. Have you ever done a cost analysis on how much revenue is generated by a new dwelling versus the expense in fire protection, police protection, et cetera, et cetera? Say you have I mean, have you ever done a cost analysis of if a subdivision goes in, are we going to need more fire trucks? Are we going to need more firefighters? Are we going to need more police officers? Because you are seeking to generate revenue by bringing in rooftops, houses, people who will pay property taxes. But do you know how much it's going to cost the city in terms of providing the services that you described? And you talked about providing services anyway and not getting any revenue. Well, the piece of property on Cox Pike doesn't require any services because it's all woods. There are no dwellings, and the squirrels don't need the police officers. So I just thought I'd point that out. But have you ever done a cost-benefit analysis? Because you think you can grow yourself into a positive revenue, but I wonder if you really can. When you have to build another firehouse, we have to buy more fire equipment. We have to hire these individuals, and you can't hire people to work for less than $50,000 or $60,000 a year to fill those posts. So that's a question.
To answer that question, it depends what your definition of cost analysis review is, but every single time. The department heads take into account an annexation, if it's an annexation. They take in a 20-unit development, if it's going to be 20 units as proposed. If it's 1,000, whatever size the development is, they take into account how that's going to impact their ability to do their job. The fire chief looks at that and says, can I service this with the crew that I currently have? If he feels that he's going to need to expand his department due to that development, that is in his notes. Same thing with the police chief. Every single department reviews every single proposal that the city takes into consideration.
And just to tag off of that a little bit, we do have proposals, or we're working on an additional fire department, a firehouse on the other side of town to help alleviate the issues that we're having on response times from one side of town to the other based on all of the construction that's been going on and all the additional dwellings that are to be built in the next couple of years. So we're doing that to be ahead of all that construction being built so that we're properly prepared with our infrastructure. Just to add on to that a little bit.
And that's something that Mr. Doherty also takes into account when budgeting these items on how we're going to pay for them and afford them. It's all of those numbers are taken into consideration throughout that process.
Yeah, just to add on to that, I think we're all showing what we've learned tonight. But Mr. Doherty will sit down and he'll figure out how much each additional home will generate in tax revenue, and that'll help give some sort of projection on the budget as well. And so then he'll know down the road how many fire trucks we need to buy, and that's something that's being planned years down the road also. There's a lot of methodology behind it and a lot of thought put into that sort of cost. I'd say that's done with a lot of intention.
And like I said, with all the additional construction going on, I think we already went into contract to purchase an additional fire apparatus, fire truck 2 years ago. Is that correct, Mr. Doherty? 2 years ago. So we're still paying that off. And then once we are ready to accept the delivery of that apparatus, at that point, I mean, it's going to be already paid for by the city over amount of years to help us with all the new construction that's going on.
I just want to add, sorry, Mrs. Cook there, 1 second. And I don't think you meant anything bad by it, Commissioner Buffalini, but talking about response times and how any issues that we have currently with response times really isn't necessarily due to a lack of personnel. It's due to just the location of the fire station that we have. We have one fire station, that's what we operate out of. So anything that happens out by, say, 40 and 96, you've got a decent drive to get out there. Any of those homes that have emergencies that's needed, it just takes time to get there, period, if they're just sitting at the fire station with nothing to do. But that response just takes some time to get to. So the idea of building a second fire station isn't solely based on the need because we've got all this development. I mean, the development helps pay for that, but it will service that end of our community better. It will cut down on the response times because they will already be located closer to those hot spots that we know of that receive a lot of calls. So it does have something to do with response time and improving that, but at the same time, it's not the lack of quote unquote good response time isn't due to poor planning or inadequate planning with personnel or overstressed fire departments because of the size of the community that it's serving. It's really just the location in which they come out of. So adding a fire station, there's a lot of benefits that come with that. One of them being response times will go down, but because they will be closer to where these issues primarily exist.
Ms. Cook, go ahead.
All right, Sheila Cook, 7422 Swindon Boulevard, Fairview. This is kind of a back and forth because I want to make sure, it seems like there's a lot of questions that I want to make sure I understand. So we have ordinances in place. I've learned the ones before 2016, anything a developer bought on that one, I think, there's no time limit, correct? They can do what they want and wait and build on it 2045, and they're under the old ordinances, is that correct? From what I learned? Yes, no? That's just simple. I want to make sure I understand this.
I don't want to be the only one giving answers here, but I feel like there's some caveats to that, but primarily, yes, there are certain things that once that approval's in place, that's what it is. Now,
Okay.
there's been some, and forgive me, if I know what we're going to be speaking about, I put time in to research and refresh my memory, but it's hard to just pull
Well,
the
that's
stuff
kind of
out
what
of my
I've,
head.
yeah, what I've kind of learned, but yeah, so I
But
just,
I believe there was something that was passed with the state that does give expiration dates to certain things. I can't recall. But anything prior to that, just as we've talked about other topics, it's if you had your approval even prior to that, it can't impact you, I don't believe.
there's a subdivision, you brought it up, I don't remember the name now, sorry, it flew out, that's before that.
Yeah.
And they pretty much hadn't started anything.
Right.
And they're under the old ordinances. I don't remember the subdivision.
Bellhaven.
Huh?
Bellhaven.
Yeah, I knew it started with a B. I
Right.
couldn't remember.
And,
Bellhaven.
and I believe that if they start work, then that'll put them under the
3-year
time
rule?
limit.
Okay.
Right, but
So anything after
they don't start.
2016, they start, it's a 3-year rule. But I
That's
guess
right.
that's East Development. I'll take mine, Otter Creek. Phase 1 happened.
Well, hold on, but it's
sorry.
each phase of the development too.
Okay, that's what I was
So
gonna
you can
find
get
out.
an extension on the phases, so they have to
Okay.
start, like, say, phase 1, but then they can hold on 2 and 3. So the reason, I'm assuming your question is going to be, why isn't phase 3 done? It's already within that time.
Well,
It's-
2 was 4 years.
Sure.
Where I came in, the pandemic happened. And
Yeah.
so I'm just trying to make sure, because it's not just me, there's a lot of people who really,
Right, and then
Need
what does it
education
mean
here.
to start? And it doesn't mean they have to finish, it just means there has to be some sort of affirmative step. And I
Okay.
have to confess, I don't know exactly what that looks like. I think it might be a somewhat vague description anyway, but
okay.
yeah, so they don't have to start all phase 1, 2, 3 at the same time. They can start 1 in that time, and then that gives them an extension on 2 and then 3.
Okay, that's good to know. So there was another one, and I just don't remember, that's why I brought up Otter Creek. I live there, so I know at least there's 3 and 4 that's come in and gotten approved. And they've kind of dug some roads, and that's about it right now, because I don't know what else, I don't go back there, so something else is happening or whatever. He's just got a lot of Tonka trucks back there, but, so then we talk about annexation. So when something's annexed, nothing's been built on it, right? So we really don't have any ordinances. I think we just, right? There's no ordinances because nothing's being built, correct? We just annexed it.
Currently, any annexation that the city of Fairview takes in comes in at R40, which is a 1 acre minimum lot
Okay.
size. Yeah.
And then if it goes to R20 20, just to say it does that, they're still, okay, we still do that. Still, there's no time limit because the developer maybe has gotten engaged or something. Does the time really start and all the pieces start when they come in and say, we want to build, I'm just going to make this up, 50 houses in there?
So I think there might be a couple different questions in that
Yeah, there is.
question you're
I'm-
asking.
I'm
No, it's okay.
multi-layered,
It's
but
all
yeah.
right. So simply rezoning the property. One, it has to be requested by the property owner.
Okay,
And two, once it is rezoned, yes, that zone is there, it's there.
okay,
What I think what you're getting at is an actual approval of a development where they've brought construction plans and they've said, this is what we want to build, there's design, there's, this is how many roads we want to put in, this is how many homes we're going to put in, that sort of thing.
Where do the ordinances today versus the one that's coming up, at what phase? Is it annex? Is it rezoned, or is it actually when the developer comes in and makes a plan, because that's when they're getting approved? When do they come under the new ordinance?
It's when they have the plan
So the-
approved.
So we still got time, even if they
Correct.
R20 it and all that?
Yeah, and I believe
Okay.
the process will be, because we're changing everything as far as our zoning, like our current zoning will, and I could be wrong on this, I wish we had staff here to help, but it'll fit, the new zoning, what is R20 won't be R20 anymore. It's going to have a new name with new regulations. So what they'll do is they'll take all the R20 properties and fit it into whatever's closest to us, I think is the process in that.
Is that to distinguish what's old ordinance and what's under new ordinance?
Well, you would have to follow our new zoning regulations. So
Okay.
you couldn't be left to say, oh, well, I got R20 when it was still R20, so I don't have to follow anything. That's not how it's going to work.
Okay.
I don't believe. I'm 99% sure on that. To go back to there are certain aspects, like I said, there's caveats to getting the approvals in and not having to follow future changes. Stormwater ordinance is not one of those. So stormwater ordinance, you always have to stay up to date with it. Now, if you're in the middle of your building, you've got half your infrastructure in, and all of a sudden ordinance has changed, that's probably a gray area where they're gonna go ahead and proceed. But if all you have is on paper, and you haven't actually started anything yet, and stormwater ordinances change, or the state requires something different, you would have to follow that.
Okay. I know there was a plan that was brought up that they were not going to go across some road, and they decided to do more, change some houses because they needed a bigger storm ordinance, or storm container, whatever they're
And if you're
called.
talking about the backside of this one here,
I don't know where everything is. I'm sorry. I'm still figuring
yeah,
it
no,
out.
you're fine. That particular one was, in my mind, a win-win for everybody. It was going
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was back
to,
here, yeah.
so, and really, so there's certain aspects of regulations and ordinances that have to be met, right? If you're gonna build so many houses, you have to have so many entrances, so many exits.
Right.
There's certain requirements that have to be met.
Yeah, like on
So-
mine.
so
Tony
they
can't
had-
build anything until he makes the whole road, so they come in both
So when they
ways, right?
proposed that originally, none of this was here.
Okay,
right?
gotcha.
Well, I mean, it was proposed, and it might have even been approved, I think it was, but it wasn't actually physically being put in yet. So they had to show the proper amount of ingress egress. So they had one going out on what's Wayne's Lane, which is a dead-end road that has a very interesting connection to Cox Pike, and it's problematic for a lot of reasons if you're going to increase traffic flow through there.
Okay.
But there was always the understanding that this road would eventually connect to it as City Center gets built out. And once that connects, that opens up, there's a new road that wasn't there before, so they now can use that to check the box of how many ingress egress they have, which
Okay.
allows them to then remove that Wayne's Lane one and not actually build it. Which is, I think everyone on Wayne's Lane is pleased with that outcome.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But, okay, and we also asked during that meeting, or we didn't get to, but y'all did, what happens if this phase 2 gets built before this happens? Because some snag happens, and y'all said it won't happen, but I guess if it does, you can't stop it until it happens,
I
right?
believe we put, when the planning commission approved the last item that was regarding that, I can't remember the specifics, but there was a caveat or a condition that was applied that stated they would have to stop once they hit so many homes. Once you hit that threshold,
Yep.
if that house was, if that road, excuse me, wasn't completed, So that was put in to
Yeah, I
protect
remember
that situation
okay.
from happening.
So there are things you can slow down if it's, okay. I've seen this, yeah, I've seen y'all do that, so. I know in building phase 2, where I'm at, I looked at phase 1, there's driveways that go like this. And phase 2, I'm glad somewhere they stepped in Fairview before we moved here. Because I said, if I have a driveway like this, I'll walk away, I don't care what check I've written you for it. So I think y'all decided, and I don't know if that's everywhere, but 10% grade on driveways, is that everywhere now? Is that a new something? Because that happened in phase 2, which was good.
Yeah, there was some grading changes, I think in 2018, maybe, that was done. I'm not sure exactly when that
Okay.
happened, but there's limitations on what we consider critical lots, and it's 20%, I believe, is the percentage.
Okay, they told me 10 there, which I was happy.
I'm not sure. I could be, again, when the item's on the agenda, I spend hours making sure that I've refreshed my memory on this. Trying to pull it from the back of my brain is challenging at times.
I understand. When I build a house, that's when I'll check into it, so, okay. So technically, if we annex, so it's can still be the new ordinance. I'm listening to what you're saying. If we are 20 or whatever you want to call it, if they are 20 it and the new one's XYZ, we'll just say that 20, okay? Does that mean once the developer brings something in, we have new ordinance in place before they do that, are they then shifted to XYZ 20 instead of RS 20? I don't know what you're going to name it, so.
If I follow what you're saying, I believe so.
Okay.
So, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mayor, you may know this, or one of the commissioners may. I believe our planning department at this point in time is pretty much telling people that are bringing rezoning requests forward that you should, it's not adopted yet, but it's going to be changing. I'm not sure exactly. Again, I don't want to misspeak on that, but those conversations I would imagine are happening. It
Yeah, and
makes
hopefully
sense that they
nothing's
would
going to be approved until everything's stamped off.
Yeah,
with
and
the
all
new
of it
one, so.
takes, and it seems like it goes fast, right? When time goes by, right? If anyone who has kids knows that you blink and all of a sudden 5 years
Yep.
goes by. Large projects are often like kids, you blink and they're there, but really like a rezoning has to go in front of the planning commission, and it is, I believe, more than once, does it not? It has to go in front of this board
Planning
more than once.
Commission once and the board
And then
twice.
in front of this board twice and have a public hearing.
And a public hearing.
It's got to wait a certain amount of time between the planning commission and before it comes here, and then we have to wait X amount of time before it goes to the second reading. It takes time, and then once they get their rezoning, then they have to come and get all of their construction plans together and do all of the studies that need to be done, and it takes a while. So we know not the exact date of when the new regulations will be put in place, but we know that they're right around the corner.
Yeah. Unless you have a lot of feedback in that 30 days, and, so,
Yeah,
I mean, these things
but
can
even
take a while,
even with
too.
some feedback, I think it's still the end of by the end of the year. I'm pretty confident to say it would be in place. In fact, if it took that long, I think something might have went a little sideways. But certainly, especially with this one that we just annexed, before any of that takes place, that should all be done by that point.
And since we can't see this, but I'm going to just throw this out there, all new houses, everywhere I've seen yards, they need to do something with developers and builders. We got a yard full of rocks everywhere with some grass down on top. It needs to be done better. I've lived from coast to coast. This is the worst I've ever seen. That needs to be put in ordinance somewhere. It's awful. The lawn companies love it, but
I think there's a
it's just as bad as what's going on there, just about, well, not as bad, I'll take that back. It's not, but just about, because I'm fixing to spend a lot of money just to actually have grass in my yard, instead of big rocks like this.
I think if I'm not in the building industry, I don't know,
understand.
but in
there's a
in
planning
talking with
person
a
back here, and
handful
you're a
of them,
planning
they
person.
I think it's pretty well known that the soil and everything in this area is just a unique type that has.
Yeah, but if you pay a
those
lawn company
imperfections.
enough, they'll come out and find some soil. They don't just throw, it was topsoil on the documents I have. They didn't put that down. There's rocks.
I would say that's something you need to take up with
Wow.
the one that had the other side of that contract with you.
Well, yeah. And I waited for the next house to be built by Regent, who's doing this other one, and tore up my yard, and they're not going to do anything about it. So, yeah. So, yeah, I'm not real happy with some of the builders and developers. My thing is they need to be again, accountability, like I said. Hold them to some standards, put some stuff in, and do something about it. I mean, if we saw all this stuff. Maybe y'all can't do something, but somewhere, somebody's got to hold them accountable, stop them in their tracks. I don't know, make them build a retaining wall that gets taken down. The one other thing, since y'all are doing ordinance, I heard them talk about, I don't know the land, but ladies were saying they're looking out and they see these trees and somebody's gonna, the one I think annexed and somebody's gonna build stuff. Is there anywhere that can put X amount of feet of, you can't clear these trees or something? I mean, just a thought, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't expect you to answer that, but
Well, there are buffers during the construction process, and they're also supposed to maintain a certain percentage of foliage of trees as well, depending on what's there currently.
but when they got terrain like this, they seem to, and then, but I don't know if those are things that can be put in or not. Then I sent an email y'all all got, so Tom said he'll send some stuff back, but it's pretty much, I just publicly want to say, I've asked about the bond money spent already, what project, how much, status of completion, including like the lights, what do we decide, just so it's all in writing, everybody can see. How much is left, whether other projects are being considered for the bond money, approximation of how much is being considered for each. What's the status of the half acre in front of City Hall that went back and forth? Anybody know that yet?
It is,
We buying it, we just
Someone
gonna
else's
lease it,
property.
or? I know, are we buying it or gonna lease it, or still just continue
I
to lease
think
it?
we still have the existing agreement in place that we get
Okay.
to use it for the third and pay
For
some
the next
sort of
40 years
fee,
or 50
but
or something? Okay.
something, yeah.
We can extend that up to another additional 50 years.
Okay. Hickman County, we're still waiting on Hickman, I guess, but, the new light, I know y'all are gonna be talking about that. I don't know if that's gonna come at the workshop, all those new lights, because I know it just got passed through, but, it's like, how much is it really costing us? I think y'all said 1.1 or 2. When y'all get that number nailed down that we have to escrow it, come back and tell us, what are we exactly paying for?
So ma'am,
Are you-
when you suggested about Hickman, you're suggesting about the property that we're trying to purchase in Hickman County for the police training facility?
Yeah, whether you do the, yeah. whether you
Okay,
do
and the lights project, you're talking about the lights up on 96 and 40?
Well, that's a different one, sorry, yeah, the one at Cumberland and Crowcut, they're putting a light in, which is great.
That light over
100.
there,
Traffic
okay.
Yeah.
That's a traffic light,
How
yes.
much, yeah, I'm sorry, traffic light, how much is that costing Fairview? I know y'all might have said something, but sometimes.
So-
Give
so
me
that-
a
that
thumbs up or a
project there is
thumbs down,
costing us
but that
zero.
is, I'm fairly certain that project is 100% state funded. is
That's
it?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are they
that's
gonna give us a
fine.
third lane? I know y'all wanted it, but we
I
hadn't
believe
heard.
there's turning lanes from both directions.
Do we know
There's
how
turning lane
far?
in
Pretty
both
far?
directions and sidewalks and
Linear feet of
traffic
the
light.
turning lane, I'm not sure, but I promise you it'll be improvement from what it is
And none of that's
today.
costing us except to
Correct.
get back and forth everywhere, okay.
Correct, just the
that's
headache
great.
of the build process.
Okay, yeah. And then, every once in a while, update on the city center would be nice in the meetings. And then the other is the, the four-way, the 96 and the 100. When y'all, find out what that cost. I didn't put that in the email, but that was just
So
new.
I'll address the city center one and then I'll let you guys
Okay.
take it from there.
Yeah, I'll go
The
sit
city
down.
center, I know it has the name city in it, has
Yeah.
absolutely nothing to do with us. So
Okay.
that is privately owned development. They've got all the approvals they need. They don't update us on where they're at unless they're just talking with the planning commission and having, or not planning commission, but the planning department for having inspections or whatever when they get to certain phases. But we don't get updates on where they're at on that, so we're not providing updates to
So
like
think
hide
of it as
but-
a housing building,
yeah,
but
I mean,
it's
if you were
it's a
building your
multi-use.
house, yeah, I'm not
Gotcha,
gonna come
perfect.
and knock and be like, hey, exactly, what's your timeline? You know, like
Yeah,
it's,
gotcha.
they're, hopefully, I'm sure they're moving as fast as they can. And I've been told rumors that they're getting close to start putting down like the base level foundation of roadways and things like that in there. So I'm sure they're getting close to making it look like there's real progress. I promise you they're doing things. It's just all underground mostly, so it just looks
Yeah.
like nothing.
I know the beginning, I watched two houses being built. The beginning is always like, and then all of a sudden, boom, so I understand that, so. Somebody, I'm sorry, did you ask me something?
Oh, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so that, I appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll also add on the bond talk, I don't know the date of the meeting. It was sometime in the last 2 months. Mr. Doherty went through the bond stuff pretty extensively. I'm not sure the exact date of that meeting to look it up, but that information should be readily available. I can try to find the date. Tom may remember when that was. I'm trying to remember the exact topic of what we were talking about for that, when that happened, but it was discussed pretty extensively not too long ago. Well, he just reviewed all of for those that can't hear, she asked if things changed, and I think when we discussed it, when Mr. Doherty addressed it, he was going over all the projects that the bond money had went to. I believe you asked for that, so maybe you can speak to it
Yeah, I
better.
think it was the June 5th meeting. I think it's, if you go back and listen to the June 5th meeting, there's a description of all of the bond, because we were talking about it in relation, I think, to the following the budget.
It was also our last meeting as well that he had given us an update from June 30th. So I have it right here. I had it with
End of the
me.
fiscal year.
Yeah, so
Yeah, so June 5th and July 17th would be good explanations of the bond money and where we stand.
Mr. Doherty, is that public information? So we're trying to get a copy of it on our website. Okay, thank you. If it's not already on there, he said. Okay. I know that we're trying to get an update as well on the paving projects. I know I put it out there. Some people have reached out to us, and we had a update from prior to July 1st of what's going on. So that's what we have as of right now, was prior to July 1st. So I'm hoping that by the time our next meeting is in the next week or 2 weeks, that we'll have some additional information as to the paving projects, what's going on, when they're going to be finalized, when they're going to be lined, and if we're going to be working on any additional paving going forward after what is already on that current project, and what we already have budgeted for. If we have any notions or anything to do in the future with other projects for paving, if we can get maybe a list of what would need paving in the next year or 2 years going forward.
Ms. Cook, if you'll go on the website under finance section, you'll see where everything that the bond money is coming, that has been spent, and where we are at this point, under the finance section.
I'm wondering, since no one else is coming up to talk, I'm wondering if we can have something additional to our,
Tom's coming up to talk.
well, he can answer this question too, possibly. If we can add another page to our website for volunteers, and if we can get local organizations that are looking for volunteers, that they can go to a central location on our website that can help facilitate which way to go as far as volunteering, if that's a possibility.
Maybe we can look at a workshop on some of that. Some of that gets a little touchy.
Right.
Yeah, that's actually tying directly into that project that I'm working on to get like we love Fairview, like volunteer day. So that'll be a big piece of that too.
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
there you go.
nice synchronicity there.
I just want to address the street paving and just appreciate everybody's patience. We're probably going through what a lot of Williamson County cities have gone through, things that Fairview has never done before. It's exciting, but as a fourth generation Fairview guy, I want to know what I want to be able to drive when I'm at 20, 30 years from now and recognize my hometown. So we're trying to do things responsibly. We have embarked on the largest paving project ever in the history of Fairview. A little over $2 million of paving. They're supposed to start back in mid-August to early September, and once they get going, they'll go through it, be through in September, I hope. But we're going to have all of the red lights and all those intersections redone with not the paint, but the plastic type stuff. And then we're having all the roads striped. We will not put outside stripes on the not what we consider main roads, but the roads like Chester, Crowcut and Cox Pike or things like that, they'll all have outside lanes and middle lanes. The only other additional road that I know of that was not on that list that we're looking at is Cox Pike. It's getting a lot of wear and tear from the dump trucks, but primarily that list that I provided with the board, I can provide it, put it on the website. That's going to finish it up. But we've got about $1 million left with the paving companies. They've had the green light to go. They're just working on getting their schedule finished up where they're working and coming up, finish up with us. One of the things too, when I talk about so many things that are happening with in Fairview we've had so much infrastructure going on, gas lines moving, water and sewer lines moving, and so they had to stop. It didn't make a lot of sense to pave Crowcut when all the gas lines were going in and everything was in the way. So we put a halt on that and said, hey, just let's get a lot of these infrastructure things taken care of and then pick back up. So it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me to pave it and then have the utility people tear it up and then somebody's got to pay to repave it. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you that I'm excited about some of the improvements, but it's also I remember the day back in high school when I could find a dirt road in about 5 minutes. So we're past that, but I just want to tell everybody we're really trying to grow responsibly. We're not, and there are going to be inconveniences with construction and paving and this, that, and the other. Hopefully, once it's done, it'll be a much better infrastructure and ways for people to get around. That's really all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
I would just like to add, I know it seems like when we approve things, it gets a lot of attention, but things also do get denied, especially at the planning commission level, rezoning requests. There's a couple very specific lots in this community that have had attempts to rezone it more than once, more than twice, some even on their third or fourth attempt, and they've been told no over and over and over. It is not anything that comes in front of us. We're just rubber stamping approvals. When I will say, for the most part, our planning commission does do a good job. I know I put my time in to try to do the best I can, and I know others on that board also do the same. So when it gets past the planning commission and comes to this board, a lot of that has been worked out. And I have the pleasure of serving on that board, so it might seem when we're in the Board of Commissioner meeting that I am just quiet on topics and just pushing it through. But I've had, if you go back and watch the Planning Commission discussions, we've had those discussions. I've had a chance to have those questions asked that I wanted to ask. So just I would encourage everybody to watch Planning Commission meetings, because a lot of the denials happen at that level. When they get here, it's gone through planning department and they've vetted it out, and then it's gone through the planning commission and they've vetted it out. So by the time it gets to this board, things still get denied, or have the possibility to get denied. But ideally, a lot of the kinks have been worked out at that point. I just want to say that as something to keep in mind when, if you're of the type that thinks that we are just an automatic approval when it gets to this board.
I'm going to change the subject. School starts on Monday. So we all know school buses will be out and kids will be standing on the side of the road and they'll be walking down the side of the road in some instances. So please be ready for the additional traffic around the schools during drop off and pickup time. Look for those school buses. Please don't run through any of those school buses with blinking yellow and red lights. Being mindful of the kids that are standing out the bus stops. It's time. So more congestion on the roads during those peak hours, and our kiddos are out there. So please be mindful and careful with them.
And to that point, and the mayor touched on it earlier too, it is going to get chaotic over there in front of Fairview Elementary and Fairview High School. But I mean, I've been around the city now for a handful of years, and I think by far the most asked about concern that we had in the city is that intersection. Of personal friends that I hear from about it that live in that area that have to deal with that intersection on a regular basis. So I think it's, if you're remodeling your kitchen, you gotta use the microwave and the toaster a little bit more than you want, and that's kind of the same thing that we're gonna have to do. It's just it's gonna be a period of time where there's gonna be some frustration and some additional patience required. But at the end of the day, when that's done, I know that pain point we won't have. It'll be taken care of, and that intersection will be not only more efficient but safer for kids leaving high school, communities on the other side of the road leaving to get onto 100 and go left. There's just a lot of positives that are going to come out of it. It's just necessary evil that we're going to have to deal with the frustration and the time that it's going to take to get that in place.
Yeah, and I guess I just want to say it's going to be a lot of unexpected changes. So one day it'll look one way and one day it'll look another way. And that actually caught me last week. I didn't expect it necessarily, and it took me a little extra time, but also I came around a corner and there was a worker standing there. So also remember, there are going to be workers working on these roads, standing out by the side of the road. So watch out for them and be careful. Just take it slow and take it easy. Be really mindful of that with all the extra people around. But I agree. I can't wait for that intersection to be finished. It's going to be great.
I live right up that road. We're done with it. But so piggybacking off of the schools coming back, there's something exciting happening up at the high school. I don't know if anyone's seen it on Facebook or has heard about it, but they are adding a bass team, which is pretty wild. So Fairview High School is going to have a bass fishing team. They are looking for sponsors for this team, and just reach out to I guess the high school for anything further. But I think I'm going to post some things on Facebook. I know Jared Bright is the coach, and they're going to be doing some traveling. So there's a cost of, I think it starts at like $350 per athlete, and that's for 5 tournaments. I'm trying to say it right now. Tournaments instead of tournaments. And it is also is inclusive for homeschoolers. So if you're a homeschooler and you want to be included in certain athletics, you can be part of the bass team. So that's going to be pretty exciting. And then tomorrow night, we just found out a little while ago, tomorrow night is going to be the first preseason football game for the high school. So Friday Night Lights are back. Unfortunately, it's going to be 92, 93 degrees, so it's going to be a little bit warm. But some exciting things are happening up at the stadium this year. New sound system that was installed, and still working on some other things, working on some things for basketball season as well, possibly a new scores table digitally, so it's going to be good for sponsors. It'll be great for our city and for our economic development officer to help us out a little bit with that. And also in 2 months, I've been in touch with United Communications, and they're going to come here in 2 months on I believe it's October 7th, October 3rd. The first meeting in October, they're going to come and make a presentation to the city about what they're doing. I just got that email about 30 minutes ago. So look out for that. So they're helping our city out, and they've also been a great sponsor for our schools as well. So I want to thank United Communications for that. Anybody else have anything?
Can you tell us a little bit, like, what do they do? What are we?
So,
supposed to be
yeah,
hearing about?
United Communications is an internet service company. They've started with their broadband. I want to say it's fiber optics, and they're servicing a lot of areas that don't or can't get internet here in Fairview. I know they've done all of Cumberland Estates. I know they're doing Aiden Woods. They're doing a couple other developments, and they're running down 100. So they're going to be servicing a lot of retail, a lot of corporations, a lot of homes, and they're very cost effective for everybody. So it's I'm not going to talk bad about other carriers or anything like that, but their options are very affordable. Let's leave it at that. So it's something that's going to be nice for the city, and they're going to make their presentation. I'm not on their staff, so I can't say anything good, bad, or otherwise about them or their services. We'll let them do that when they come.
That reminded me of, I've had people ask me this question, so I'm going to answer it while we're here at the town hall. I've had people ask me about if they can use the football stadium out at the high school. And so I reached out and found out that the football stadium is locked. It cannot be used. At one point, it was, I think people could use the track, but it is locked and not able to be used by the public. But our tennis courts are not. Our tennis courts are open to the public, and all you have to do, I talked to the coach, and she said that there is like a calendar that's on the concession stand by the tennis courts. And if you'd like to use the tennis courts, just look at the calendar to make sure that the tennis team is not using those courts. And then if not, they're open to the public. Also, starting this weekend is our Williamson County Fair is opening. If you've never been to the Williamson County Fair, it's really awesome. So I just recommend, I know it's really hot, but there's so many cool things that go on at our Williamson County Fair. So if you have the opportunity to go out there, it's a really fun time.
Yeah, so Mayor, so to piggyback off of that, the tennis courts are actually managed by the recreation, for the Williamson County Recreation Department, Parks and Rec. So you can also go up to the rec department and talk to them about scheduling anything if you wanted to utilize it, if it is available or not, if that schedule is not on the fence outside. Since no one's talking, I'm going to sing and dance a little. No. Has anyone been up to the historic center down there across from the rec center? I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the school there is being redone, and they've gotten, Mayor, you could probably speak on this a little bit about the new project that's going on down there, the windows and...
Well, on Saturday, our local Fairview Community Theater is doing a Harry Potter themed back to school bash, which is amazing. They did their first one last year. They're going to do one on Saturday, and I am not sure of the times, but if you go to Fairview Community Theater on Facebook, on their Facebook page, you can find out the times for that. But it's such a fun, awesome event, and they also have a real owl there, which is kind of fun. But everybody dresses up Harry Potter themed, and they have little stations. You can make a wand, and you can get school supplies and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun, and that's going to happen on Saturday. I will give somebody else a chance to talk and look it up so that I can give the times for that, because it's a really cool event. But yes, the Triangle School is being renovated. I've been involved in that project for 18 years now with Dr. Neil Rice. We actually started, to give a little history, the Triangle School was the first schoolhouse in Fairview, and if I'm not mistaken, Tom may know, 1937, something around, 1937, 39 is when it opened. And so we had a vision to restore the schoolhouse. The last people who lived in the schoolhouse were the Bowie sisters. So it was quite interesting when Dr. Rice and I were cleaning out that building, what we found, because with the sisters being doctors, they had a lot of test items in there that they were, the doctors were trying out. So if you can imagine back in the day, that was quite interesting to check that out. But we cleaned out the schoolhouse and started the renovation on it and the restoration, taking it back to its former glory. It's won many awards from the Historic Association of Tennessee, and we've attended many events where the schoolhouse for the renovation has won awards. It's also, that whole property is zoned historic. So we've got a lot of neat things that we'd like to do with that property in the near future. So just stay tuned for that. But the renovation of that, and then also the Jingo Post Office and the Boone Street Clinic. We relocated the Boone Street Clinic in the middle of the night from Boone Street to the Triangle property. We brought, actually, over where Bellhaven's going to be, we brought the Jingo Post Office, dismantled it and moved it, restored it. So during different events, especially at Christmas time, we open those buildings so that everyone can come and visit those buildings, but they've become a home. I was excited to see that happened. They become a home to the Fairview Community Theater, and when they have their events there and do their, they have their theater there, everyone can come and tour the buildings and see, what's going on and just how unique they are. But the whole property being historic, we're going to, we look forward to, our vision is the farmer's market, the amphitheater, and walking trails over there. So it's going to be a really good addition to our community when we get that finished.
To go back to the Williamson County Fair that Mayor Anderson was discussing, this Sunday is Senior Day. So if you're a senior citizen, I don't know exactly the age. I mean, 35 and above, I guess. I don't know. I think it's 55 and older. You get in for
me.
You get in for free over at the Williamson County Fair. They're also looking for, and Mayor Rogers Anderson had asked me to make this announcement as well. They're looking for volunteers. So if anybody's interested in volunteering up at the Williamson County Fair, that'll get you some T-shirts, food, beverages, and admission to the fair. And all they're asking for is 4 hours of volunteering, and you can volunteer at certain locations, drive a golf cart if you want, or if you want, you can work with the animals. So they're dying for volunteers right now, so I just wanted to mention that as well. And you can just go to williamsoncountyfair.org to look that up, and there's a little button there that says sponsors and volunteers and then hours, and it'll give you everything that you need to know if you click on volunteer. And there's also a sign up sheet there as well, and I think you have to be 16 or over to volunteer. So if you're a 16-year-old and you're listening to this, you are more than welcome to volunteer and be part of Williamson County and Williamson County Fair and represent Fairview for us. So thank you for that.
And I just want to take a moment to once again celebrate the back to school supply drive that happened here at City Hall last Saturday. It was such a successful event. It was a lot of fun. Several of us were there. We were handing out bags. We got to see lots of friends, lots of excited kids going back. I want to thank One Church Home the United Way of Greater Nashville and Goldstein Insurance for providing the donations for that event. It was so great to see the kind of supplies that were being provided to the children. It was such a generous amount of donations per child, and there were plenty for everybody. There were backpacks, there were all kinds of supplies, but it wouldn't have been possible without the generosity of the folks who donated. So I wanted to say thanks to them and all of the different community vendors who showed up. I can't remember everybody that was there, so I don't want to name a couple and not name everybody and end up in hot water. But it was really great. I'd love to see people involved in that next year and coming out and just making it lots of fun. It was a great time, and I wanted to acknowledge the city staff that was there. Rachel was there, and Richard was there, of course, managing all of it, making sure everything happened, and it was hot. It was so hot, and so it was just a lot of work, but it went by really fast, and it was so great to see how happy the kids are and to be a part of something like that. And I just wanted to say thank you again to everybody who made it possible.
Yeah, that was definitely a great experience. That was the first time I ever been part of that. And just before they had starting to wrap up, they were at 480 people that they helped, 480 backpacks that they gave out. And then I think there was a couple more cars that straggled in at the end. So I think they were just shy of 500. So that's 500 students that they helped. So I got to give them great kudos. And it was also the Tennessee Titans also donated, and I think we still have some stuff left over that I believe Richard Ross brought to some of the other local schools to just to assist throughout the whole year. So kudos to all of them. So thank you, Ms. Roberts, for bringing that up. Commissioner Roberts.
Okay, so I found the post. Harry Potter Back to School Bash event. It says, join Fairview Community Theater for our Harry Potter Back to School event, a magical morning of wand making, potions, games, snacks, and sorting ceremony. Oh, that's right. That was so fun. So I remember last year what they did, each child who was there, they actually have a sorting hat, and they get to put on the sorting hat and they sort them into the houses, and they get a little invitation with the seal on it so they can, know what house they're going to be in. So that was a lot of fun. And like I said, they had the owl last year, which was, it was a live owl, so that was fun. It's going to be this Saturday from 10 a.m. till 12 p.m. So at the Triangle School, it's $15 per child to, for all of the events. And let's see. Like I said, with all of the events that I named off, and just last year the children dressed up in their Harry Potter gear, so it was a lot of fun. Also, our Pearl here in Fairview is having their second anniversary, and it's this Saturday also from 11 to 2. And then, like I said, the fair's going on, so we've just got a lot of things going on. So.
If you go to the fair, there's some hay bales outside of the fair that were decorated by local civic organizations. I'm part of the Rotary, and if you guys go there, vote for the one that looks like a horse for the Franklin Rodeo. I worked on that. Just sharing. So if people don't know, this meeting we can really talk about anything, obviously.
You missed the young men, the boosters from the football, high school football boosters. The young men were all over town last Saturday morning promoting the boosters. And when they came by my house, they said, no one is home. And I think that is a really good indication of how busy Fairview was last Saturday. Because I said, I'm sorry that no one is home to participate and buy your lovely little cards, but they're all down at the town hall at the back-to-school bash, or they're over at the softball. There's so much going on. Or they're at the farmer's market. Last Saturday, this town was hopping. And I think you're telling us the same thing. It's going to be
Yes.
hopping again this Saturday. Fairview's a great place to be.
Absolutely.
But
And our new Elevate Gym,
Yeah,
also their
they
grand
had their-
opening.
they had their grand opening.
We left here and went to the ribbon cutting for the new Elevate Gym, cheer gym. So it was back-to-back different events going on.
yeah, I mean, kids all over town.
But what you're talking about is their gold cards, and I just want to say I have 10. Please, please don't come to my business no. I wish I could buy one from every single student, but it's like the first 10 who get to me, I try to help out with that. But the gold cards are awesome because a lot of the items on the gold cards, that's how, one of their fundraisers you can use in local and Dixon restaurants all throughout the year. So they're well worth the $20. There's the gold
There you
card.
go. There you go. But I don't think they stopped selling them, by the way. I think they're
No,
still
they
selling them,
don't.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also the girls that are selling them as well. So it's not just the boys on the football team. I believe some of the cheerleaders might have them. And I think flag football, the girls from the flag football team might also be selling some of them. And then the girls that help on the sideline, they're selling them too. They're having a contest of the girls versus the boys. And I think the girls might have won. I'm not sure, but they might have sold some more. The girls always win a fundraising. They do. They do. At the Elevate Gym, I don't know if anyone, even if you don't have children, you should stop by there. That place is very impressive. That is a great location, and I think that we should have a competition for all the commissioners to jump in the foam pit, and who can do the best. Come on, we can
You go
do it.
first.
Well,
We'll just watch you.
Well,
As
we had a
as long
state
as there's a live
representative
feed of it.
there. Our state representative Lee Reeves was there. He jumped in to christen that foam pit, and he had a heck of a time trying to get out of that. So that would be fun. We should all do that. Come on, guys, have some fun. Everyone's so stiff up here, sitting down all the time. We gotta have some fun.
Well, Don, we'll watch you jump in the foam pit.
Let's do it. Let's do it. We can make it into a fundraiser. How about that? No? No takers?
We'll put it on a workshop.
We'll put it on workshop. We'll make it into a fundraiser. Actually, I have a question about something else since we have another 15, 20 minutes here and no more people talking except for me. Is it right, or are we able to, as commissioners, if somebody wants to host us at their home, if they have a group 5, 10 people that want to talk to us, are we able to do that?
You can talk to anyone you want to, as long as it's not with another commissioner.
Right.
That's a violation of Open Records Act. So as
Okay.
long as it's just you and whoever, you're more than welcome. But when it becomes 2 commissioners or more in a group, we have to be in City Hall so that it's open to the public.
Right, that's called the Sunshine Law. So what I'm going to propose is not for everyone. This is
Actually, Open Records Act is the formal.
Oh, okay. So what I'm going to suggest is for me, I can't speak for all the commissioners here, but if anyone would like to open up their home and invite, I guess me, unless the other ones want to do it, I don't know. But I have no problem going there and listening and having a town hall in their house. I don't think that's ever been done, so I'm trying to do things a little bit
I have
differently.
a town hall every day next door, so I feel you. Don't I, Mary? Every day next door. I mean, I mean, every third person this isn't about shipping. It's about, so this goes on every single day.
Well, so
And
I work
poor
in Nashville.
Chelsea-
If you guys want to come to Nashville and do that, I have an office there. But if anybody would like to open up their home and would like to host something, I have no problem coming to your home or business or anything like that and discussing things that you're concerned about. Just wanted to put that out there.
And I have no problem with people coming next door and asking me about city stuff because, we should all be available anytime. So,
Well, not to get into a competition of who'd like to talk more to people, but I feel like I should probably also say, as I've said a lot of times up here,
I think
call,
all of
email
us are
anytime.
very
Glad to talk
open.
with y'all. Yes.
I think all of us as a group are a very open group and willing to talk to anybody who would like to ask us questions.
I think Don just offered to host the next town hall.
At your house with pizza?
I think he said he was going to make pizza for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what he just said.
I also limited to 5 to 10 people. So.
Shout out to my team at Canos. I hope y'all won trivia without me tonight. I'm missing it. So I'll have to check in with them. Trivia is so fun. They have it at Canos on Thursday night at 6, and they have it at Uncle Lenny's on Tuesday night. So it's just something I've gotten involved in lately. I'm very competitive, and I love trivia. So it's just a lot of fun if anybody is interested in going to one of those. It's a good time.
I believe La Plaza has.
It's also La
They
Plaza's
have
on
trivia
Thursday
night
nights as
too?
well. Yep.
Oh, wow. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You can just play trivia every night.
And karaoke on Friday.
And Saturday.
I won't be
And
doing
Saturday.
that. I'd like to hear some good karaoke, but I don't even sing in my shower, so I'm definitely not going to sing in front of people. I know.
We are.
aren't we?
We're trying to come up with some
Hey,
things
good
here.
stuff though. Some people don't realize, different events happen in our community. I love when I find out about things.
Since we got time, I don't know how many people are still watching this
They can replay it on
very
YouTube.
great conversation we're having at the end of this town hall, but I guess just gonna throw a plug out there. The Fairview Titans Junior Pro has started off. We're in our second week of practice, and we are open to sponsorships. We'll probably be coming around town, talking with businesses here, and I know it's sponsorship season, so everybody's just getting berated with sponsorship opportunities. No shortage of tax write-offs, but if you're interested, we have a Facebook, Fairview Titans on Facebook. You can message us, and we will get in touch with you. But we are looking for sponsors to help us out. It is a very costly program that is challenging to balance between how much, you don't want to overcharge and prevent kids from participating. So sponsorships help out a great deal. And if you're interested in that, be welcome to it. You could also Facebook message me directly if you'd like. Just throwing that out there.
So earlier today, I was driving home from work, and I got off 96, and I'm coming down 96, and I noticed that one of our police officers was helping a citizen change a tire. So, and that police officer is sitting in the back of the room right now, Officer Martin. So thank you very much for helping that individual. I know he stripped the lug nut. The guy, not our officer, but the. Yeah. So, but you had great intent right there. So I pulled over to see if I can help as well. And thank you for doing what you do, and all of our police officers here in Fairview. I appreciate and applaud everything that you guys do. And as long as with our fire department as well. Can't forget them and our public works. They reacted. Public Works, I have to give a kudos and a shout out to them because I spoke to our director for Public Works, Todd Bratcher, yesterday, 2 days ago, and the following day they installed a speed sign in one of the developments that didn't have one, and they did that within 24 hours. And I gotta really say thank you very much to them and everything that they've been doing around this city. So even if you guys see them, just thank them. I mean, it doesn't hurt to thank somebody. Just be kind, to any of our city staff. It doesn't hurt to say thank you once in a while to even a complete stranger. So thank you.
Actually, and that speed limit sign was run over at one point. I just don't think it ever got put back up, so
5 years ago.
I'm glad that
that's
it-
5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
5 years ago.
glad that it got put back up.
So it only took 5 years, but but
Well,
we got,
that's kind of the thing around here. We have such a widespread community, and we like for people to reach out and let us know if something's, if a tree is falling into the road or a traffic light's down, not a traffic light, but a
sign or something like that, yeah.
traffic signs down or something, because we don't always know every inch of what's going on. But if people reach out to us and let us know, then we can definitely reach out to the right people, the right department head to get the answers. And I think, I'm just going to speak for me, but I think all of us, we try to do the best we can. And if I hesitate to answer something, I really don't want to answer a question that I'm not 100% sure of the answer. I would rather go to the department head in that department. And so if we're silent when something is answered or asked, it's not all the time that we, are not wanting to answer something. It's like I said in the beginning of the meeting, if it might be something that we need to research and get more information to be able to speak about it in an educated manner and give the proper information. So it's not that we're, just being silent about it. It's that sometimes we just need to research. And these town halls, it's kind of like on the fly. So, we may have to look into something to get the information, whereas our board meetings, we have an agenda, and we can research that and be well prepared for it. So, but just know I'm more than happy, I know the other board members are, to get the answers that everybody, everything that they're looking for.
also with that said, the speed signs, the 25, 35, 45, whatever they are, there are rules. So you can't just ask and say, hey, can you put one in front of my house or down a block or something like that? It's every half a mile. It's actually 0.6 of a mile. So if there's one on the beginning of Cox Run, there's another one on the other end of Cox Run. So, and they're divided equally. So you can't just have one in the middle of it, because someone did ask me, hey, can you put one in front of my house because I got kids playing all the time? No, we can't. It's not what it is. So it's every 0.6 of a mile is a speed sign.
And it would be a good, to that point, it would be a good idea for you to go back on that post maybe and just let people know that that was a sign that was there previously and it was knocked down. And so, Todd put it back up, because that's a good point, that we're not just going around putting up stop signs. Speed limit signs. That speed limit sign was already there. It was knocked down, so it can be replaced. And we can't just, like Commissioner Buffalini said, we can't just go up and put, traffic signs up anywhere that people ask. We've got to do that in a manner that is appropriate.
I haven't used this platform to talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart, but since we have 8 minutes left, I thought I would also mention this and just make a plug. People who know me pretty well know that I'm very actively involved in animal rescue, and I have been rescuing dogs since 2020. I like to do maternity fostering. I just had a litter of 11 puppies get adopted out. a couple weeks ago. Well, they're still getting adopted out, but they're with different fosters. And it's just great. So I wanted to make a plug for Animal Rescue. If anybody is considering, if any high school kids need some volunteer hours, or if anyone is looking for a way to give back, you can foster cats, you can foster dogs. I'm sure there's something else you could foster too, but I don't go into any of those other sort of exotic animals or farm animal business. But going and walking animals at the Williamson County Animal Control, or even Cheatham County, go find some of those more rural areas that don't have the resources that we have in Williamson County and help them. But I've had dogs pulled from the High Kill shelter out in Memphis that have come to me, and they've been some of the best little foster dogs, and they go off to their forever homes, and it's the most rewarding thing. So I just thought, since we had 8 minutes and I haven't actually used this platform to talk about that yet, I thought I would take a couple of minutes and just let y'all know. And if you have any questions about how to get involved or what it takes, then I'm more than happy to talk about it at any time. I mean, ask anyone who knows me. I'll pull out all the pictures. It's like I'm showing you pictures of my kids, but I just love them. So if you're interested in anything like that, then let me know.
Isn't there a website or a Facebook link or something, right?
Well, I wasn't going to talk about just one organization.
Oh, okay, I'm
So yeah, because I don't think that one is necessarily better than the other. There's so many. I mean, you can go online and find them. But if you want to know which one I go through and my experience with them, I can tell you I'm more than happy, because I think they're phenomenal. But there are so many worthy, wonderful organizations around. So I don't want to make a plug for just one. I just want to say, and look, I know a lot of people don't like to foster because they're afraid they're going to fail. I can't just give that sweet puppy away, and that is true. But that sweet puppy gets a wonderful new life because of you. So if you just think about it that way and what the animal needs, then it becomes very easy.
And get your dog spayed and neutered. As who was that? Bob Barker. Yeah. Get your dogs and cats spayed and neutered.
And I know my wife is watching, and no, we are not getting any more dogs.
These 11 puppies were very cute. They're still available.
We are still not getting any more dogs. She's always sending me these pictures of dogs that are being posted on Facebook, and come on down. And then she sends me this other dog, Mr. Pumpernickel, and this is the wildest looking dog I've ever seen in my life. But if you need some comedy in your life, look up Mr. Pumpernickel. It'll definitely give you some joy in your life. You do know what I'm talking about? You don't? No, you don't? Look it up. It's great. We have 3 more minutes to talk about this if you'd like. We can. All right.
I do. It'll be short. It's a thank you. So now that Tom's back here. In our neighborhood, they paved phase 1, which is what they, what was planned, but it stopped at a 4-way stop. 2 of them were very high, very hard on your cars, very hard on the kids. They hit them with the bike, go off on the bike. They got scooters, they got all kinds of things. And then they also paved Taylor Road, which was very nice. It looks like it's a little wider, which was good. And that was even higher. And I talked to Tom. He was going to have people out to do a little temporary thing. Then it flooded everywhere, so it took a little minute, but it all got done, and it's a lot better. And it's temporary because when they do phase 2, I don't know, 10 years from now or whatever, when they finish 3 and 4, it's easier to, I guess, take that piece up and finish paving. But when he got back in here, I want to thank him for that, and the city for going out. Who went out and did it, though? Todd. Thank you, Todd.
Okay, anyone else? Last call. All right. Thank you so much for a great town hall. We appreciate all the comments and questions. If any of the questions did not get answered, we will seek the answers from our staff, and just always know we have a codes department. You can schedule a time with them if there's anything development related that they can answer questions for. So with that, thank you everyone at home and here, and we look forward to our next town meeting. Thank you.